I believe that who we are today is a reflection of our upbringing and our childhood. Now, as human beings, we tend to forget a lot of the bad memories that when we were young or when we were a child, but just sometimes taking the time to reconcile and think about our childhood and our experiences, I believe that it's healthy to identify some of the things that went on as we grew up and how it affects our relationship with our loved ones, how it affects our self-esteem, our confidence. So in this video, I just want to take the time to go over together. I want to go over back to my childhood. Everyone's story is different. Your story is going to be different than mine, but I believe there's going to be a lot of similarities. And even though there's not similarities, even though there's differences, I think that's going to help us to understand other people and to understand ourselves. So today in this video, I want to just talk about my childhood growing up as upbringing with an Asian family. So if you are Asian or you're a minority immigrant, I think that you're going to see a lot of similarities. And if you're not, if you were born here, if you're American, I think that will still help because you're going to see the difference in culture, and then you're going to understand, maybe that would help you understand how you are and how it affects you as an adult. So first of all, so I was born in Vietnam. My parents was divorced at a young age, maybe around when I was 2 years old. Can't remember much. My mom was always traveling and singing, so never really had love from my mom. Couldn't remember anything. I was sent to my uncles, my grandmas, so passed around. It's funny that I can't remember a lot of memories, but there's only a few memories that I remember. Remember as a child, my mom came home from traveling or singing or something on her bicycle, and I was playing on the front yard, and then she opened her hand and she gave me this like dried lychee or something, like a dried fruit, and I thought it was like so amazing. We're like poor, and this dried fruit was like the fruit of heaven or something. I don't know why I remember that, but it's a little glimpse of my childhood that I remember. But there was one that I remember. My mom sent me to my grandma's house, and there was two aunts sitting in front cutting vegetables or whatever. She dropped me off and she started running away. And I remember crying, just bawling and screaming for her and crying, and it must have been really traumatic because I still remember it. And I remember my aunt was just sitting there still cutting their vegetables, and they didn't really care. They didn't really make me feel better or anything, just let me cry it out. It's really dramatizing. So I remember that. Just a little glimpse here and there. As I got to America when I was 6 years old, my aunt sponsored us, came by plane, came by with 6 other family members, with some aunts and cousins. And my mom dated another man about 2 years later, and he had 2 kids, and he told me to call him dad, and I did. And then growing up, the kids would hate me. They were older than me, bigger than me, stronger than me, and they just made fun of me. They said, "Oh, you don't have a dad or something? Why do you call our dad?" And it was just very uncomfortable as a kid. I was alone, and they hated me, and every time they pick on me, I would, if my mom find out about it, my mom would yell at them, and they would pick on me some more afterwards. And so just growing up, they would bully me. So I felt very alone, and my mom would work all the time, and every time she come home, she would yell at me, and just a very hard love. I don't know if it's an Asian thing, and little glimpse of my mom yelling, chasing me with a broom, um, making me sit on my knees. This is when I was young, 5 years old. If I punishment would be kneel on your knees, face against the wall, put your hand together, and then your knees would get really tired, especially if it's hardwood, floors, and you would kind of like slump down a little bit, and then she would yell at me again, and then she's like, "Oh, stand up straight," and I was just, and it's just, and then as I grow older, she started hitting me with, a belt, stuff like that. So my mom never really gave me love. I think it was just maybe it was a culture thing. Maybe they want to give hard love, I guess. And as Asian parents, they always want you to do well, so they're always yelling at you. They always want you to do better. But I don't know if it's an Asian thing because my mom had a sister, and her kid, which is my cousin. He's only 1 year younger than me. He gets abused too, but then there was a time, when they're good, and she would hold him and hug him, and I was just so jealous. And I was thinking one time, it was like, how come I can't have that? How come my mom was doing well financially, and I was thinking, money is not everything. And I don't know why I remember that. Um, I just wanted that love, that human touch, and I didn't get it from my mom. I remember I was in 10 years old or something, 10, 11, maybe junior high or something. We're just laying in bed watching TV, and my mom kind of touched me in the ear, and I felt so weird, like, because she never touched me, she never hugged me, she never, kissed me or anything. So I thought that was kind of, it felt really weird. But basically, I didn't have, much love for my dad because, I left him when I was young, at 5 or 6 years old. And then when I got older, my mom was always working, trying to make money. She works late, so never. And then whenever she comes home, she'll find something to say, like, "Oh, have you done your homework? Have you?" Just always finding something to criticize, and to a point where I resent and didn't even want to see my mom. Like, and the weekend I would see her for a little bit, and she would yell at me. And it's just the love wasn't there. So I think, as a child, and growing up with these bullies, my stepbrothers, they would pick on me all the time. I would just take my bike and go and play video games by myself, watch movies by myself. It's just thinking about it, and I forget that. You forget that until I talk about it. Until, even talking about it right now, there's certain kind of like emotion that's within. It makes me want to, like, tear up or something. So it's funny that, we tend to forget about these things, but now to talk about it and to think about it, reconcile, it's like it plays a big part in who you are, as you grow older. Oh, just talking about it, like, there's this emotion that was like stored up, which is kind of weird. So, but I can see that, these things that you think that doesn't affect you, because you've grown older and you forget about it. I think it has a big effect on us, like, as a human being. And I remember it affected me as I had my first girlfriend when I was 16, and I would always, do something to make, her like, to pretend to be mad at something, or when I get mad about something, and then I'll want her to make me feel better. And then when she doesn't, because she don't know what's wrong with me, I'll get more mad. I'll get more mad because I'm thinking in my head, I expect this person to know when I'm sad and to be able to make me happy if she's gonna be the one for me. And I constantly do that, and I didn't know why. And when we broke up after 2 years, and then I one day I just kind of, like, a light bulb came on, and I called her out, and I was like, "Hey, I need to tell you something." And when I called her out, I told her, things that I do, how I made you, you know, how I made you make me wanting to make you me feel better, and I get mad at you for not doing it. I finally know why, and I told her it's because I think it's because I don't have the love from my parents, from my dad, from my mom, and so when I have this girlfriend, I dump all the love and the responsibility that I'm missing on you. Is that I want you, it's like make up for all that love that I didn't have. Like to know when I'm sad, to make up like all the, excuse me, 1 second. So to make up for all the sadness that I had as a child, and the lack of love. So I can see that how it affects me in my relationship. So I think this is what is going on with a lot of relationship also. It's when you don't realize it, when you your childhood, and you don't have that love and you don't feel that love, you you tend to value relationship more, and you tend to, if you're not careful, dump all the responsibility on your significant other and your girlfriend, and that's not really fair. That's not really healthy. And for American culture, you think about it. Why is American culture? They grow up and they're easy for them to date, easy for them to sleep around, easy for them to break up and get a lot of girlfriend. If you think about it, some of them they have both parents and they have full love. The culture is they express their love to their kids, and so when they grow up, they don't have the need of wanting or lacking that love. So dating and breaking up, and it's easier for them, and they don't need that that love that they're lacking when they were young. And unlike more Asian parents, they have this style of kind of hard love. So even if they love you and they're busy making money and giving you education and stuff like that, but they never give you the love, like the American culture. So you're lacking of that, and that's why I think the Asian, we value you know deep relationship more, and we can't be playing around and stuff like that. So I kind of see that as far as culture and upbringing, how it affects relationship. um, so that's what I see. And another thing is that an Asian family, when I was young, we're always comparing. The parents are always comparing, um, how you're doing with the other kids. Like, oh, your cousin's getting taller than you. He's a year younger. He's been drinking milk. You better be drinking more milk, or something like that. Or, or, or he's like acing all his classes or something. The parents, Asian parents, always compare you to the other kid and always make you feel like you're not good enough. And unlike maybe American culture, they were always praising the kid, and you're doing a good job, you can be anyone that you want to be, you can be whoever you want to be. And 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 the Asian culture, I just feel like it's just never enough, and you just feel like you're just being compared to, and it's a constant pressure to do better. Or I don't think they meant to hurt you, but sometimes, you know growing up in that kind of environment, it can affect you when you grow older. You just, maybe you don't feel like you're good enough, you don't feel like, you always feel like there's someone better than you. And so just paying attention to these things, I think, is healthy. And I think the relationship part, I think, plays a big part for me, that I can see very clearly. And as I grow older, my dating life, and I can see very clearly how it has affected me. Um, and as far as, people grow up nowadays. You have kids that are 15, 16-year old, very confused, and they don't know what part they play in society. And with social media now, you just see like it makes it even worse, because you turn on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube and shorts and stuff like that. You see, people traveling. You see, kids, or people having a good life, and you think that, what's wrong with my life? And I honestly think nowadays is worse than before, is because of social media. And if we're not careful, and it's not even kids, it's even adults. If you think about it now, even you and I, our age, or any age, we turn on social media and we see people traveling the world, eating at fancy restaurants, dressing nice. Seems like everyone is traveling somewhere. It just makes you feel like you're not there and you're not enough, and there's something wrong with you, and you're always doubting yourself. So I think combined with our upbringing, and some of the beliefs that we have within, that we haven't changed, and that we don't even know that we have these limiting beliefs, combined with today's social media, always in our face, with people traveling, people eating well at the restaurant, people using apps on their faces and looking young and looking good, and then you get discouraged and you want to do Botox and lip injection and want to look good, and just to come up to that level. I think it's a big issue. But what I can say is that what has helped me is that just continuing to learn about personal growth and spirituality. Um, I think the point of this video is that, just first of all, to reconcile and go back in time and look at our childhood and our upbringing, and see how that has affected us, and see what kind of beliefs that we have gotten from there, and what are the limiting beliefs, and what are the beliefs that we want to identify, and what do we want to let go, and how has that affected our personal relationship with ourselves, with our loved ones, and how do we feel like we fit in this world, our confidence, our existence. And what I can say is that learning about personal growth and spirituality has really helped me, by just changing certain beliefs. Now, when it comes to spirituality, now it can be whatever that you believe that works for you. You can believe in the universe, you can believe in Buddha, you can believe in God. I don't want to get into specific of what it is, but it is that higher being, overall being that you believe in. But what I can say is that what has really saved me and allowed me to be more of a person of who I am and be more expressive is that, no matter what our upbringing is, the hardship, how hard it is, how bad the story or emotional it is, or what you have gone through, I want to say that is that we are valid, and our experience is valid. And no matter how hard and what you've been through, it's that story, it's that experience that makes you special. The deeper and the more hardship that you have been through, that's what makes you special. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if your life is beautiful, it doesn't matter if you had a lot of hardship. The craziest story of all is still a valid experience, and it still plays a big part in this whole universe and life. It's just like that big jigsaw puzzle of reality, and it doesn't matter what piece we are. We could be the most beautiful piece in the puzzle, or we can just be the background or the dark piece that is somewhere in the corner, but that piece is necessary to make that whole picture of reality. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't matter who we are or what we think we are. Our story and our experience really matters, and it serves a purpose, whether it serves a personal purpose for ourselves or it could be a learning experience for somebody else. And just know that it's valid and it's beautiful as is. So I just want to make that video. I just wanted to throw it out there. Yeah, I think it's something valid to talk about and to think about. I hope that makes sense to you. I hope you got something of value from this video. I love to hear what you think of this video and what are your experience, and I love to hear from you in the comments. And see you very soon.